And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. There's a man with a nuclear missile over there. Yeah, I mean, it's getting serious. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it was coming. And we've been doing our best to try and make sure that we do what we need to do. You know, go ahead and flip the screen on. The one thing that I want to make sure is that we understand what's really happening between U.S. and China. And we don't really know. I mean, you know, we're not given all the privy, but we have a lot of people that are making enormous financial bets on this. And Jim Rogers is sharing it with us. And it's on RT, Russia Today. I can't, you know, a lot of times they want to call it RT. They kind of got away from the Russia Today. We don't want anybody to know it's kind of Russian government television, you know. And where they were happy as heck to say BBC or something, and that's, you know, Queen's television. But, you know, my thing is that, you know, if it's content, you know, that I, you know, can say, yeah, I wanted to hear what they had to say, because they're kind of taking this sideline thing, you know, going, you're got, because what they want to hammer on capitalism in whatever form that we got, it's not really capitalism. This is just corporatism. This is, you know, fascism a la Mussolini stuff. So let's get the information out there. A lot of good people like Dr. Paul will go up there, give them what for. Well, here we're going to finish up with Jim Rogers talking about what's going on while the U.S. and China are meeting right now, discussing y'all future. Well, let's go ahead and finish up with it. Here we go.
We have this turmoil, but that's the way it's going to wind up, because nobody's taking any serious action except talking about it.
Okay, here's my question for you, because you spend most of your time in Singapore and you're in New York right now. You're obviously in the United States. When you come here and you talk to people and you read the American mainstream press, do you feel like people are kind of asleep on this issue? I mean, you even were challenging me, saying I was kind of asleep on this issue and that I didn't challenge my last guest properly. So I want to know what you think. People are missing.
I'm actually startled. I am stunned by how little there seems to be in the American press about it. I mean, the American press seems to be more worried about which TV star is divorcing which TV star more than anything else, when the rest of the world is sitting here very seriously concerned about the U.S. being overextended, both politically and geopolitically and militarily and economically. And yet I don't see many people in the U.S. even noticing it, much less caring about it.
And yet countries like China are still used to justify an existential threat to the United States, and for leaders to be able to push continued military spending, the United States military being the most well-financed in the world. I want to know what toll you think this is eventually going to take on the lives of average Americans who might be saying, hey, it hasn't affected me so far.
Ms. Lister, we've got wars going on in 3 different countries right now. We'd like to have wars in 4 or 5 more if we could figure out a way to do it. We've got troops stationed in 120 countries around the world that aren't doing anything except making enemies for us and costing us a staggering amount of money. This is all going to come to an end. And unfortunately, no country that's gotten itself into this kind of situation gets out of the problem without a crisis or a semi-crisis. We're more and more rapidly approaching a crisis that's going to be bad for all of us. 2008 was bad. We'll wait till the next time around. It's going to be even worse. Is
China going to come out on top? I know in the last financial crisis, many said that they fared much better because they had a lot more control over their economy. Would they fare as well now? Some people are concerned over inflation.
Well, China does have inflation. There's no question. We have inflation in America, too. They at least acknowledge it. We lie about it. We say there is no inflation. Well, I'm sure you shop, or maybe you don't shop. Maybe your butler does your shopping. But the rest of us who shop,
chance.
we know that prices are going higher. China's got that problem, and they're trying to do something about it. We're not. We're throwing fuel on the fire. But when the crisis comes, you said, again, China was a creditor in 2008. We were a debtor. The next time around, China's going to be an even bigger creditor, and we're going to be an even bigger debtor. I mean, you know how the world works. Debtors don't have much latitude when problems arise. Creditors usually do.
And one just quick question. We saw the People's Bank of China put the yuan at a record high peg today. I'm curious if that was one analysis that came out was this was more of a goodwill effort ahead of this summit. Is that what you think?
Well, whether it's a goodwill or not, it doesn't matter, because the facts are that China is the largest creditor in the world and America is the largest debtor. The renminbi is going to go higher and higher and higher over the next decade. There's not much anybody can do about it, including China or including America. It is happening. It has been happening for 6 years now. They have been opening their currency more and more, and it's going to continue to open more and more, and it's going to go higher. Don't sell your renminbi, Miss Lister.
Well, I know you're long on it, aren't you? So are you still betting on China?
I certainly do. I certainly do own the renminbi, and whenever I can, I buy more. It's not that easy. You can't just pick up the phone and buy a lot of renminbi, but there are legal ways to do it. And wherever I get the chance, I buy more renminbi.
All right. Well, there's our investing advice for the day. I want to thank you so much for being with us. That was Jim Rogers, co-founder of Quantum Fund and author of Gift to My Children, among other books. Thank you so much.
Yep. Here we go. This is going to be a recurring theme is going to be, you didn't know? Why didn't you know? You didn't understand what? There wasn't enough information out there? I remember a few years ago during 08, 07, 08, as certainly during the beginning year of the Ron Paul campaign when Peter Schiff was predicting all the stuff that was coming. And I remember one time he went on a similar interview, and he goes, there's enough information out there for people to be able to make life-changing, long-term decisions for their own well-being that I have absolutely no sympathy, empathy, anything for you. Get over it. If you want to know, go find the information. It's out there. And if you don't, and you suffer, and you believe the talking heads on CNBC, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, blah, 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 cheerleaders, all we need is the perfect cheer. Well, then you're to blame yourself. Who are you going to blame? Who are you going to go after? Well, they lied to me. They who? And you believed them? Heck, you need to be slapped for believing them. So, this is where we're at right now. This is going to get a lot worse. Now, some of the stories on Freedom's Phoenix, Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com, just some of the, I just give you some of the top here. I just want to make sure everybody knows. The Dow has gone below 12,000, which don't mean nothing. But, for a lot of people, whatever. Is it going to keep going? The whole thing is we've been waiting for the stock market to take a dump. When that happens, where do they put their money? Well, they want to put them in something that's, at least park it somewhere and secure. It's usually precious metals, which isn't going to be available, certainly not any large amount. So what they do is they go, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the, let me move this up a little bit. Sorry about that. Get better. Now, what we're going to do is they're going to go ahead and say, we got to put our money somewhere. We don't want to hear where we're going to put it. Well, they'll put it in foreign currencies, or they'll put it into treasury bills. They consider that safe. I don't know if they still do or not, but they go ahead and they put it in treasury bills. Then what happens? If you're only getting a couple of percent, why would I do that when it has such an increased risk of maybe not getting paid back? Let me tell you when this happened before. I remember this. This is some of the institutional kind of knowledge, just, way back machine people, they don't know this. They don't share it. They don't repeat it. They don't tell you. In 1992, when you had the Ross Perot thing was going on, he would get up, and he had gazillions of dollars, so he would get up on TV, and he'd have his charts. And he'd go, can I finish? Can I finish? Here, look at my chart. And he was talking about, he's going, look, we are having a long-term debt, overspending, have all this big, giant government entitlements, all this stuff. And he goes, we are financing that with short-term debt. It's like it's coming due in a year, a couple years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever. And they're going to have to roll it over. When they do, it's going to get ugly. This is kind of, what's happened. It's going on now. It's going to get people to finance our debt. They're going to have to raise the interest rates for nothing to a lot. And when they do, even the interest we're not going to be able to pay.